Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine Avataravadhisthaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the supreme incarnation of God, who came to establish universal religion. Let us pray to him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Last time I started the topic 3 essential keys for a successful, meaningful spiritual life. One is seva, service, then sadhana, practice, samarpana, dedicating completely to the divine. All these three are very, very important if we are pursuing spiritual path. Last time I told that people very loosely use the word service. Anything and everything, whatever they do, they call it as service. No doubt it is a form of service, but there is service and service. One form of service makes you more and more worldly. Another type of service makes you more and more spiritual. That means one can be spiritual or otherwise depending on how he performs service. Doing service with the attitude of duty leads him to spiritual life. For example, people living in the world have to attend on so many things. Attending on family, holding on to jobs, various types of services attached. Are there in this world. But if you have spiritual attitude, If you know the technique of doing service in a spiritual way, the same service leads you to spiritual way. Many times I have given the example of a story coming in Mahabharata. An ordinary housewife. She was totally dedicated to the service of her husband. And she was doing it with so much zeal and devotion. Just at that point of time when she was engaged in the service of her husband, a sage came there asking for bhiksha. He was shouting, "Please give me bhiksha." She replied from inside, "Wait a minute. After completing my duty, I will attend on you." The sage became very furious. He thought himself a superior person having some kind of occult powers. As soon as this thought came to him, while he was seriously thinking of cursing that lady, the lady from inside immediately responded and said, "Look, don't think I am the crow that you burnt near your hermitage while doing meditation." And this sage was, I should not say sage, ascetic. This ascetic was stunned and shocked also. What? I did tapas for so many years, and I could burn the crow, I could burn the elephant and bring the life back to the elephant. All such powers I got. But this lady, just staying inside the home, doing her household work, how could she know my inner thoughts? Nobody knows except me about what I have done. How this lady came to know? It was a great puzzle. Then after a while she came, the lady came, attended on him and said, "Look, I was attending on my husband. I was giving food. I can't come in the middle of my duty." And the ascetic felt great regrets and said, "Mother, pardon me. You are the right person to teach me the spiritual path. Can you give some instructions regarding the realization of the truth?" Then that lady said, "Look, if you want to have instructions, there's a person, go and meet him. He is a butcher. He will give you what you need." Again he was shocked. What? I have to meet the butcher? Then he went to the butcher's shop as directed by this lady. What he found? That butcher was attending on his old parents, totally dedicated. And he was a Brahmagyani. So there's a famous passage in Mahabharata, Vyada Gita. So what I mean to say is, whatever work you do, if you do it with a proper attitude, it purifies your heart. If you don't have right attitude, you will have opposite effect. So, one should really understand the deeper meaning of service. One should become aware of it. So, a person who serves the world really serves himself. Every word is important. He who serves the world really serves himself. But one who helps others really helps himself. Beautiful statement. This is an important point. When you serve a man, when you serve your community or your country, always think that the Divine Lord has given you a rare opportunity to improve, correct and mold yourself by service. Be grateful to that man who has given you a chance to serve him. If you have this attitude, service will not lead you to bondage. On the other hand, it takes you towards freedom. So, work means action. When the action is done with spiritual attitude, when it is done sincerely, honestly, it becomes karma yoga. When it becomes karma yoga, the mind for the reception of light or knowledge, he will be getting through the practice of karma yoga. That is, karma yoga prepares the mind for the reception of light. It expands the heart and breaks all barriers that stand in the way of unity or oneness. So, karma yoga is the effective sadhana for chitta shuddhi, purification of the heart. So, purification of the heart is the important factor. Without that, you can never even have the glimpse of the Divine Lord. So, purity of the heart is a must. Then spiritual experience will follow. By doing selfless service, you are purifying your heart. Selfless service, that is important. For the love of service you are doing, not with the idea of getting some monetary benefit or some kind of position, power, status, etc. No. You don't care for status. You don't care for name or fame. You don't care for position. And you have the attitude of humbleness. With that attitude, if you serve, then it is called selfless service. in that form of service, ego cannot raise its head. All the negative qualities, egotism, hatred, jealousy, idea of superiority, and all these kindred negative qualities will totally vanish. In their place, humility, pure love, sympathy, tolerance, and mercy will be developed. The moment you see that some kind of egoism is bothering you, bugging you, immediately you must take correction. I am not doing the work properly. I am going in a wrong way. In the name of spirituality, I am becoming more hopeless than before, because I am not practicing spirituality properly as it should. So, more and more you engage honestly in selfless activities, selfishness will be eradicated. That is the test of your action. If it is karma yoga, you must become free from selfishness. If it is otherwise, though you are calling your action as karma yoga, it cannot be, because the result is showing negative. You are becoming more and more selfish, jealous, etc. So, when you perform the service with proper attitude, you will attain knowledge of the self, Atman. You will realize one in all and all in one. You will feel unbounded joy. You realize world is nothing but manifestation of God. Service of humanity is service of God. When you do actions with this attitude, then service gets transformed into worship. Service is worship. It has raised you to a next level, sanctified, glorious level, worship, with all sincerity, sacredness. Whatever service you do becomes worship of God. Generally, people are impatient and they expect immediate, quick results after doing a little service. The real karma yogi, who serves the people with humility and Atma Bhav, seeing God in every face, becomes a real ruler of the world. He is honored and respected by all because he doesn't expect anything of that sort. He doesn't want it, it will come. If you want, it won't come. That's the trick. So, if you truly renounce everything, you get everything. That's the test of renunciation. The more service you do with Atma Bhav, the more power, the more energy, and the more capacity you will get. Very important point is that every moment of your life should be dedicated in the service of God. That means all the 24 hours you must be aware of your spiritual goal. That keeps you very well. You should not lose sight of that. When the thought of doing good to others becomes part and parcel of your being, then you will not entertain any least motive at all. And you take delight in serving others, in doing good to others. And there is inexplicable joy and ananda in the vigorous nishkamya service. He gets inner spiritual strength and power by performing motiveless and selfless actions. As Swami Vivekananda has said in his complete works, work for work's sake, love for love's sake. If you have this attitude, then you will certainly realize the goal. Another point we should remember, we should never grumble or murmur when we do service to others. Who, he, you should not do. The first sign of doing service is become silent. Close your lips. Silently discharge your service. Be satisfied. That's the way. You should take delight in service, and you should be ever ready to serve others. By serving others, you are serving God Himself, because God is present in everyone. Watch for opportunities to serve. Never miss a single opportunity. Create opportunities. Create field of good service. In the practice of Nishkama Karma Yoga, there is no loss of effort. There is no harm. There is no transgression also. Even a little of this practice can protect you from great fear of birth and death, which is concomitant evils. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mato bhayat. Ramakrishna says, by practicing even a little bit of dharma, you will be prevented from great dangers. There is no uncertainty here. The path of Karma Yoga eventually leads to the attainment of bliss of the self. Self means Atman. Ordinarily speaking, people think yogi means he who displays occult powers, could fly in the air, walk in water, and do all sorts of miracles. But that is not the real meaning of the yogi. The real meaning of yogi is he should be peaceful, calm, radiate joy, and has an infinite aspiration to realize God. To have the spirit of service and devotion, to be self-controlled, that is called real yoga. So, the ideal should be to be good and to do well. Be ever willing to share what you have with others. Sharing, very important. And you should have a knowledge of the scriptures. The knowledge of the scriptures is like a guiding light. Devotion to your spiritual teacher. Devotion to saints, sages, and spiritual masters. Even nirvikalpa samadhi is not necessary. Why do you want to get yourself merged in the absolute? Have a small veil of individuality and serve here as Nitya Siddhas. Possess divine qualities and move as a divine being on this earth. Aspire not for anything else. Powers will come by themselves. You don't have to run after them, they run after you. Possess all noble virtues. Be free from hatred and malice. Elevate others by your own example. Spread the message of the rishis. Lead a righteous life. Speak the truth. Worship Mother as God, Father as God, Teacher as God, Guest as God. The idea of seeing God has to be cultivated from the childhood. Not when you become 60 years old you will try to cultivate. 60 years old afterwards you become useless. It's all simply story people talk about. You can't do anything. You'll be worrying about your blood pressure. You will be worrying about your bodily ailments. You will be worrying about your medical care. That's all. How can you think of God? Unless you cultivate that habit from the beginning. So, not that you cannot do, but it requires lot of effort, which could have been done very easily in the early stages. Now you have to struggle and struggle very strongly to cultivate love of God. So, give. Develop the quality of giving. Everybody is expert in receiving. There is nothing to admire. Giving. Even the little bit you give, it is to be admired. God admires him or her who gives. He does not give attention to the person who receives it. He who gives gets merit. But then, give with modesty. It should not be tainted with egoism. I have given so much contribution to Vedanta society, still they are not giving any importance to me. Finished. It is like doing homa sacrifice in water. In water, can you do any homa? Just like that. Give with goodwill and give with love. There is one eternal Atman, one universal consciousness that dwells in the hearts of all. Realize this through aspiration, renunciation, concentration, purification. Most important to be a yogi is definitely we should control anger. Do not get irritated through misunderstanding. Try to understand everybody. Understand the feelings of others. Sometimes you may be insulted, but then bear the insult. Bear injury. Be ever intent on the welfare of all. Sarva bhuta hite rataha. You should practice this, not merely study the Brahma Sutras and the Upanishads. Studying is important, but not that you study and then the matter is over. No. The Upanishads should come from your heart through purification, through service. So selfless service is the highest thing on this earth. Service will make you divine. Service is divine life. Service is eternal life in God. Service will give you cosmic consciousness. Service that is selfless, without attachment. But everybody wants to be served by others. Nobody wants to serve. You have to kill the ego if you have to serve. You have to pulverize it. Make it a powder. You have to extract oil from your bones and burn it for 6 months. Such is the toil, as it were, to progress in the path of self-realization. Be good and do well. This is the essence of the teachings of all scriptures and prophets of the world. First you must be good, that's very important. Free from all taintedness. Free from all blemishes. Those who want inner life are very few. All are thirsting for happiness, but they do not know where they can get happiness. They search for it in wealth and material possessions. Maya is very clever. She never allows people to taste the bliss of an inner life in the Atman. Deluded by her power, man thinks that there is no transcendental realm, that there is nothing beyond the senses. Eat, drink and be merry. This has become the motto of life. In fact, Sri Ramakrishna asked Bankim, what's the purpose of life? Purpose of life? Eat, drink and merry. Eat, drink and be merry. That's all. Shun upon you. Sri Ramakrishna scolded him. The path to the realm of God is open only to those who have got the divine grace. You must base your life on selfless service to humanity with Atma Bhava and the development of all divine virtues as described by Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Ahimsa, Satyam, Akrodaha, and so on. And you must have sustained aspiration. Sri Ramakrishna said to Bankim Chandra, if a householder is a genuine devotee, what he does, if he is genuine, he performs his duties without attachment. He surrenders the fruit of his work to God, his gain or loss, his pleasure or pain. And day and night he prays for devotees and for nothing else. Prays for the welfare of devotees, for the welfare of humanity. This is called motiveless work, the performance of duty without attachment. If a householder gives in charity, in a spirit of detachment, he is really doing good to himself and not to others. It is God alone that he serves, God who dwells in all beings. And when he serves God, he is really doing good to himself and not to others. If a man thus serves God through all beings, not through men alone, but through animals and other living beings as well, if he doesn't seek name and fame or heaven after death, if he doesn't seek any return from those he serves, if he can carry on his work of service in the spirit, then he performs truly selfless work. Work without attachment. Through such selfless work, he does good to himself. This is called Karma Yoga. This too is a way to realize God. He who works in such a detached spirit, who is kind and charitable, benefits only himself. Helping others, doing good to others, this is the work of God alone, who for men has created the sun and moon, father and mother, fruits, flowers and corn. The love that you see in parents is God's love. He has given it to them to preserve his creation. The compassion that you see in the kind-hearted is God's compassion. He has given it to them to protect the helpless. Whether you are charitable or not, God will have his work done somehow or other. Nothing can stop his work. What then is man's duty? What else can it be? It is just to take refuge in God and to pray to him with a yearning heart for his vision. Sri Ramakrishna said, Shambhu Malik said to me, Master, it is my desire to build a large number of hospitals and dispensaries. Thus I can do much good to the poor. Sri Ramakrishna said to him, yes, that is not bad if you can do it in a detached spirit. But to be detached, it is very difficult unless you sincerely love God. And further, if you entangle yourself in many activities, you will be attached to them in a way unknown to yourself. You may think you have no motive behind your work, but perhaps there has already grown a desire for fame and advertising of your name. Then again, if you are entangled in too many activities, the pressure of them will make you forget God. Sri Ramakrishna also said to him, Shambhu, let me ask you one thing. If God appears before you, will you want him for a number of hospitals and dispensaries? If God appears before you, will you want him or a number of hospitals and dispensaries? What do you want? If one realizes God, one doesn't enjoy anything else. One who has tasted syrup of sugar, candy, cannot enjoy a drink made from common treacle. Those who build hospitals and dispensaries and get pleasure from that are no doubt good people, but they are of a different type. He who is a real devotee of God seeks nothing but God. His attention is on pleasing God. not pleasing the people. You can't please the people. The more you give them, the more they criticize you. Even for nothing they can criticize. Little bit you give, they got a chance to criticize you more. Why they want to criticize you more? Because they want to get more. See that fellow, he's earning $100,000 per year. It just gives me $5,000. Huh? Like that you will criticize. Swami Brahmanji said, give your body and mind to worldly enjoyments. What will happen? The world will destroy them both. Your body is gone, your mind also is gone. On the other hand, devote your body and mind to God and His service. What will happen? You will enjoy bodily health, peace of mind, and spiritual joy. Is it possible for everybody to meditate all the time? This is from Vivekananda taught selfless service. Now to make it easy for people to reach union with God. With the same whole-souled devotion with which a devotee worships the Lord in the shrine, he must serve the Lord in the poor, in the sick, in the lowly. Who are you to help another? It is only when the Lord gives you the power that you can really serve. True it is that in all creatures He dwells, but His greater manifestation is in man. That's why Swamiji encouraged us to serve mankind. One must have faith that the one Brahman is in man, woman, in all creatures, and with that faith one must learn to serve Shiva in the form of Jiva. As you practice this, suddenly one day the veil will be lifted and you will see that it is He who has become everything, man and universe. It is He who pervades the universe in so many forms. You are that all-pervading Shiva, and thus can serve Shiva in the form of Jiva. Ego is destroyed through service. Always remember that through work you are serving the Lord. One can see Him with the eye of devotion. If you work with the idea of pleasing man, you will be disappointed. You will find peace and happiness only if you can remember the Lord. If He is pleased, the world is pleased. In favorable or in adverse circumstances, feel that you have none but Him and that you are serving Him through the faithful discharge of your allotted duties. Whatever the duties have been assigned to you, just do them vigorously, zealously, honestly, sincerely. God gives you more than what you want. You must spend your time in worship of God, in service to holy men, and in contemplation. That's the only way to mold your character. You have a duty to perform in serving your sick father. Brahmanji said, I am asking you to serve your father, my child, and at the same time to continue your regular spiritual practices. Such service will help you in your spiritual growth. It is impossible to do any good to others unless one has already built up his own character. Those who have taken refuge in God and have received His grace can never make a false step. By their very living, they do good to mankind. Their every word and action, the very way they behave, becomes a source of good to all. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, first hold on to the pillar. That is, first realize God, who is the goal of human life. Know Him first. Have intense faith in Him. Then go and serve others. When a man realizes God and works as His instrument, he finds peace in himself and gives peace to others. We shall stop here. So the first important key for a meaningful spiritual life is seva. Girish said to the master, page 956, Sir, My mind is now on a very lofty plane. Why does it come down again? Master said, that always happens when one leads a worldly life. Sometimes the householder's mind goes up, sometimes it goes down, sometimes he feels a great deal of devotion, sometimes he feels less. This happens because he lives in the midst of lust and gold. Sometimes a householder contemplates God or chants his name, and sometimes he diverts his mind to lust and gold. He is like an ordinary fly, which now sits on a sweetmeat and now on filth or rotting sores. But it is quite different with sannyasis. They are able to fix their minds on God alone, completely withdrawing them from anything but God. He leaves any place where people talk of worldly things. He listens only to spiritual talk. A man of true renunciation never speaks about anything but God. The bees light only on flowers in order to sip honey. They don't enjoy anything else. Girish went to the small terrace to rinse his hands. Master said to him, a man needs the grace of God to fix his whole mind on him. Well, Girish has eaten a great many sweets. Tell him not to eat anything else. Tell him not to eat anything else tonight. Girish returned to the room and sat in front of the master. He was chewing a betel leaf. Master said to Girish, Rakal has now understood what is good and what is bad, what is real and what is unreal. He lives with his family, no doubt, but he knows what it means. He has a wife and a son has been born to him, but he has realized that all these are illusory and impermanent. Rakal will never be attached to the world. He is like a mud fish. The fish lives in the mud, but there is not the slightest trace of mud on its body. Girish said, Sir, I don't understand all this. You can make everyone pure and unattached if you want to. You can make everyone good, whether he is a worldly man or a sannyasi. The Malaya breeze, I believe, turns all trees into sandalwood. Master said, not unless there is substance in them. There are a few trees, the cotton tree for example, which are not turned into sandalwood. Girish said, I don't care. Master said, but that is a law. Girish said, but everything about you is illegal. The devotees were listening to this conversation in grand amazement. Every now and then, the fan in M's hand stopped moving. Master said, yes, that may be true. When the river of bhakti overflows, the land all around is flooded with water to the depth of a pole. When a man is inebriated with divine love, he doesn't abide by the injunctions of the Vedas. He picks durva grass for the worship of the deity, but he doesn't clean it. He picks whatever he lays his hands on. While gathering tulsi leaves, he even breaks the branches. Oh, what a state of mind I passed through. To Yam he said, when one develops love of God, one needs nothing else. Yam said, yes sir. Master said, but a devotee must assume toward God a particular attitude. God, in his incarnation as Rama, demonstrated Shanta, Dasya, Vatsalya and Sakhya. But Krishna demonstrated Madhur. Besides all these, Radha cherished the attitude of Madhur toward Krishna. Her love was romantic, but in the case of Sita, it was a pure love of a chaste wife for her husband. There was no romance in her love. But all this is the Leela of God. It demonstrates different ideals to suit different times. A crazy woman used to accompany Vijay Goswami to the Kali temple at Dakshineshwar and sing for Sri Ramakrishna. Her songs were about Kali. She also used to sing the songs of the Brahma Samaj. The devotees called her Pugly. Pugly means crazy woman. And tried to keep her away from the master. We shall stop here. Any questions you want to ask about Karma Yoga? Silence means no question. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, holy lust raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself, O self drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find his empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. How I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years. When my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though with tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery, may the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free, may good be at all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear, may the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased, he being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.